Hello everybody, today here at JayEmm Friends, something a little bit different, and I'd like to get personal because I want to talk to you about your helmet, and if it's all the same to you, I'd like to make that point by showing you mine. What are we talking about? Well, of course, it's safety gear. Aww. Those who've been following the main channel may know that I've recently had my grandfather's old motorbike restored, his 1960s Triton, which is a combination of a Norton featherbed chassis and a Triumph engine. Very popular back in the day. And it may actually surprise a lot of you to know that I'm even a biker at all, because for the most part I don't tend to mention it. But the fact is, I spent a lot of my youth on two wheels. I actually got my bike license before my car one, and I got to ride a lot of different bikes. Thankfully, at the time I got my licence, my dad had kind of given up on new modern sports bikes because, like many people, he felt they were just getting far too fast, and he decided he was either going to hurt himself or lose his licence. So he got back into the bikes of his youth, which were 1970s Japanese 250 two-strokes. And because conveniently those are all around sort of 30 horsepower, as I at the time was on my probationary period and limited to 33 horsepower, I actually got to spend my youth riding the bikes of his, which was really quite cool. I rode everything from a Suzuki GT250 Ram Air to a Kawasaki S1C. I even had a little go on a Benelli 254, which is a really cool bike. Then, when I did get my full power license, I rode a Suzuki GSR 600, a BMW 650, Triumph Bonneville, the modern one. I did a track day on a Gixxer Thau. I did a track day on some older Kawasaki's. I've done quite a few bits, a couple of European tours, all that sort of stuff. However, when I got into my early 20s, time and money both became considerations, and really, it was actually a lack of the former that kind of stopped me from doing too much biking. And so for the last 6 years, I've kind of been out of the saddle. However, now Grandad's bike has been restored, this has really given me the spark once again to get back onto two wheels, and I found it all very exciting. And so I thought this was a great opportunity, not just for myself, but also to make some different content for you guys too. I've seen a few of my fellow car YouTubers, the likes of Auto Alex, Joe Achilles, doing some biking stuff of their own, and so I thought if the interest is there, please watch some of my stuff, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that sort of good stuff, and if you do enjoy it, hit the comment section and tell me. But today I told you I was going to be talking about helmets, because as soon as I realised that Grandad's bike was running once again, and that meant that I had a bike, that was actually my first thought. Now, in this, which is my garage, you may see a number of different helmets about, and so you'd think I had plenty to choose from. But no, this was not the case at all. Now, the majority of the helmets in here used to belong to my father. Everyone essentially, except the one at each end. The one over there is actually my very first helmet, a little KBC, so that now is about 16, 17 years old. The one at the end was one I had a few years later, painted in a Doctor Who livery, which I really rather liked, and unfortunately one of the top pieces came off on a Autobahn run in Germany. But with the exception of this rogue KBC here, all of the others in the room are Arais and used to belong to Dad. Why are they here? Well, because they have done their job and are now enjoying a quiet retirement. If you were to look at them, it doesn't really take an awful lot to guess what happened. No, Dad wasn't an incredibly clumsy or unlucky rider, he did a lot of racing. And so helmets like this bear the scars of where he's gone down the road at quite some speed. One of these he came off at Snetterton at about 130, but every single one of these is a time that my dad got up and walked away. However, you'd never wear a helmet like this, would you? It's fairly obvious this is dumb. Nor would you wear a helmet like this, which I found the other day whilst going through some things. Look at that. This is my granddad's old helmet that he used to ride as a young man, possibly even a teenager. It's a Kangol Colt. This is an obviously old helmet that inside, oh crikey, has just about no protection at all. It feels the same as a bicycle helmet. You might, however, wear something like this, which is a much newer, shinier looking version of essentially the same thing. This is an OMP lid, or OMP, don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it, and I bought this for track days in cars because it's open face, so you've got good visibility, although of course if you want to do serious stuff, actually this is totally the wrong type of helmet to have because you want one with a Hans device connection and all that sort of stuff. But as a basic ordinary helmet, this is nice, it's new, legal, it works. I'm not a fan of open face helmets on motorbikes for obvious reasons. There isn't really much to protect the sort of face bit, but this is fine. You would also almost certainly wear one of the helmets that's in these two boxes down here. You'll note both Arai, both basically the same box. This one's slightly bigger, this one's slightly smaller because the helmets are different sizes. But if I were to show you this, that's a nice lid. Very colourful, very bright, I like that. Lots of safety stickers on the back, which is good news. A few little stone chips here and there, a couple of little bits of minor scrape here, looks like somebody sort of maybe dropped it a little bit or something like that. But otherwise, looks okay. You shouldn't wear this. This is the helmet my grandfather was wearing when he died on his motorbike. So this helmet has hit the ground at about 70 miles an hour, give or take, and stopped very suddenly. But it looks okay, doesn't it? It's in basically the same box as this, which is my brand spanking new helmet. And really, if you take nothing else from this video, it's two things. First off, don't trust a helmet you don't know, because this might actually look even neater and nicer, but actually internally, the foam and things in here that are supposed to protect you in the event of an accident, they might have gone. Secondly, there are lots and lots of stickers here, which in many ways mean this is still technically a valid helmet to wear. But clearly, it's not. This hit the deck 24 years ago. And even if nothing had ever happened to it, this would not be a safe helmet. Guidelines vary, but the general advice I've seen from most people is that you should probably change your helmet every sort of 5 years or so. And the fact is that over that time, your body shape, your head may have changed ever so slightly, put on weight, lost weight, you know, the innards of the helmet might have degraded a little bit, just all sorts of things could happen. This is my new lid, which I've not actually shown you yet, and I'm quite proud of it actually. First off, because it's my first Arai. Dad, as you can tell, basically always wore Arais, but never bought me one. They were quite expensive and still are, but they're generally regarded as being one of the best. Now, when you go and test a helmet, I keep my gloves inside this, as many bikers do, and they velcro themselves to each other. I got new gloves as well because, you know, all my biking gear is now new, and if you enjoy this episode, I'll do a whole video on all the other stuff that I've bought as well. But there's an glove. I think the other ones fell into there. Anyway, here's my new lid. There we go. I thought given the fact that I was riding something properly British, I'd go with something ludicrously patriotic and colourful. Now, I bought this from JNS Accessories, which is a motorbike shop. They've got a lot of branches all over the country. And one of the things I would say about a helmet, it's one of these products, just don't buy it online. Unless you already happen to know your size and your fit, just don't do it. I tried a bunch on in the shop, and you know what? Some of them just weren't comfortable. They just didn't fit. Put this on, it felt right. It looked right. The guy in the shop helped me out, got my right size, which is an XL, which is interesting because most of my other helmets have been an M or an L. This may be a branding thing, or it may be the fact that with the YouTube channel, my ego and head have both grown. But it's gorgeous. I love it. It fits nicely. It's comfortable. I have been out on a couple of bikes, and if you enjoy this video, I will make a little blog talking about that because it didn't go entirely brilliantly, which I'm sure you'll all be delighted to hear. But it's got all the features you'd want, and this was about £600. One of the reasons it's expensive, it's an Arai. They're really nice helmets, handmade, I think, in Japan. This is a Quantic, and one of the interesting things about the Quantic, now, when it comes to safety ratings and stickers and stuff, there are quite a few. A lot of people always talk about this, which is the British Motorcycle Sport gold marking, which is what you generally need to go on a track day, and often people ignore all this other stuff, but actually, this is a kind of old marking, as is the old BSA kite mark, which you'll find on various different helmets, including Grandad's old one. That's the kite mark here on the blue, and to prove a point, the same gold sticker that's on here is on here, and you've also got another safety rating in the middle, which dates back to 1985. Now, for those riding in America, things will be different. They have different safety standards over there, quite controversial ones, actually. The one marking you really want to pay attention to is the ECE marking. Now, for those here in Britain, this has nothing to do with the EU, so Brexit does not affect this in any way, shape or form. But until recently, the newest standard was 22.05. The original standard dated back to the 1980s or so, and I think it was 22.02, but 22.05 was introduced in 2000. It's only recently been superseded, and what's changed really is the way that the helmets are tested. There's a few more things they test for, and they've introduced an element of random testing too, to stop cheeky manufacturers from just reinforcing the helmet in the places they know that they test them. So this is one of the few helmets in the world that meets 22.06. That's the most recent helmet safety standard. And look, I know 600 quid for a helmet is a lot of money. I'm in the lucky position that today I can afford my very own Arrow. As a younger man, I could not, and I appreciate that you may be on a fairly limited budget. But please, if you are like myself, getting back into biking and you're looking to buy a lid, get a new one. Go to a shop, check that it fits, preferably buy it from there as well, so you know it's going to be a genuine item that is new, that hasn't had anything happen to it. And it's worth mentioning that if you're here in Britain, we have an association called Sharp, which independently tests and verifies helmets from different manufacturers, ensuring that they meet the regulations and safety standards that they claim to. It's just another tool you can use in your search for finding the perfect lid. Oh, and if you're new to biking entirely and not getting back into it, let me give you the first tip that I think any of us ever got. Don't put that on the bike, on the tank or the seat, because there is a very, very good chance it'll fall off. And if it does, even from this height, it's dead. In the bin. Or my back wall. Don't use it. So, there we go. There's a short little video. Hope you found it interesting, and if you have, please hop into the comment section and tell me, have I got something wrong? Would you like to tell me about your favourite helmet, or show off how big it is? I don't know. But anyway, this seemed like a good idea, so tell me if it was. And in any case, I hope to see you for the next one. Bye-bye.